Hey everybody, Josh Bernstein here, contributing for Total News Nation. We've got Evan Sayet here. If you don't know
What's my name?
Evan Sayet.
Say it
again.
Say it.
Say it again.
Not Sayet.
Sayet.
What the hell was that?
Sayet. Say it. Say it. Say it. Say at. It could be a bunch of different
But
things.
it's not. It's only one thing.
It's only one thing. Okay. What are we doing? Are we doing a routine
Yeah,
here?
we're doing
Okay.
stick. We've been
So-
here. What event is this? Is the CPAC? What event is this?
No. This is the Turning Point one.
Oh, this is the Turning Point one.
Are you
Oh,
all right? You
yeah.
doing okay?
It's been a
All
long
right.
day.
Okay, good. So anyway, we are at America Fest 2024, celebrating President Trump's awesome victory, #1. And we are here with Evan, and we want to tell you a little bit about Evan. First and foremost, Evan was a liberal at one point in his life, and he has seen the light, and he is now a staunch conservative. He actually was a writer for Arsenio Hall. He worked for Bill Maher.
So he was a writer for Bill Maher as well.
And a writer for Bill Maher.
Yeah.
And he's now on our side. So welcome to our side. It's been many years. This is not a recent switch, folks. He's been a conservative for many, many years. But I'm giving you a little bit of background. And so he has the largest audience and biggest speech in heritage history.
Right. I
that
like
right?
to say the single most viewed lecture in Heritage Foundation's history. Andrew Breitbart called it one of the 5 most important conservative speeches ever given.
Exactly. And
And
when
it
I
was.
say it, he's a stand-up comedian. He's a funny guy. He also is an author. He's an activist. He is a smart guy. He's a party animal, right? I guess
Speeches-
you
speeches for
say
Trump.
that, of course. Speeches. The Al Smith dinners. This man right here is the one that wrote those jokes for the Al Smith dinners for the Hillary bashing.
Right, 2016, 2020, which didn't get done because of COVID.
Right.
And 2024.
Yeah, he's even opened up for Roy Orbison,
Indeed,
okay,
I
way
have.
back in the day. But anyway, he is here, and he's got a brand new book. He's written a lot of great books. One of them is called The Kindergarten of Eden, where he explains the liberal mindset as a 5th grader?
Well,
4th grader?
they're morally and intellectually retarded at the level of the 5-year-old child. And by the way, this is not just a gratuitous slap, nor is it hyperbole. There was actually a book written called All I Ever Really Need to Know I Learned in Kindergarten. And he was actually taking pride in the fact that nothing that he learned after kindergarten he really needed to know because he wasn't going to factor it into his thinking. Their thinking is morally and intellectually stunted at the level of the 5-year-old child.
It's an amazing, amazing book. Folks should definitely get it. But his follow-up book, and he's had a few more in between, is called The Atheist Origin Myth. So we want to kind of talk a little bit about that. Obviously, when we hear the word atheism or atheist or agnostic, it's usually a downgraded belief in God or possibly a skepticism, not knowing exactly what God is. But an atheist is saying, I'm going to close my mind. I'm going to tell you 100% that there's nobody up in the sky, and that's it. So why is that completely wrong?
Well, the vast majority, and we are the most atheistic civilization in culture in Western civilization's history. And the vast majority of atheists today don't even rise to the level of atheist. They've never given God's existence any thought at all. And the reason for this is that they've been told by experts, by people like Richard Dawkins, evolutionary biologists and so on, that God is not scientific. And well, if God's not scientific, that's the end of that. Why do I need to even look into it? Why do I need to think about it? But what they don't tell their young victims is that the only alternative to God, let's say not God, is also not scientific. So long as we accept the limited and false definition of science that the atheists have imposed, which is materialism, in order to be scientific, according to the atheists, the answer has to be from the materials found in our universe within the 4 dimensions in which we can perceive, height, width, depth, and time. Well, if the universe is here, and I'm going to assume the universe is here,
I think it is.
there's only 2 possibilities. And in fact, I think every one of them's in this room. But
That's a good one.
that wasn't bad.
Yeah.
But if the universe is here, there's only 2 possibilities. It was always here, but then it would be outside of the dimension of time. So it's not scientific. If it wasn't always here, then it had to have originated from materials other than our own. So that's not scientific.
Got
So
it.
the universe was always here or it wasn't always here. There's only two possibilities, and both of them fail the test of science, just like the God hypothesis does, if science is materialism.
Wow, that is some deep stuff. That
I'm
really
deep.
is.
I
He's
told you
very
that.
deep. He's also a stand-up comedian.
Indeed, but that's
And-
not today.
Not today, obviously. But no, I wanted to ask you when it comes to understanding a higher power, right? We all have our own personal relationship with God. So why is it that when an atheist gets into a car accident or has to go into the hospital or something happens in their life, what's the first thing they do?
They pray to God.
They pray to God. So what is that all about, number one? And number two, why do they not believe in God? Like, why would someone just say that spontaneous combustion happened and that's why we're all here?
Well, two reasons. One is they've been told God is not scientific, so they that's the end of that. They want to be scientific. But the other reason is that this is the second big lie of atheism. They've been told that religion is, if not the, then a cause of war. That if imagine no religions, right? And then because without religion there'd be peace, and that's a big lie. Religion is the only reason there is or could be peace. Right? Otherwise, if we are just either insentient materials flinging throughout the cosmos, we have no pity, we have no mercy, we have no empathy if we're just inanimate objects. And if we're animals, then our only instinct is survival. So where does love come from? Where does empathy come from? Where are these things that should not exist? Well, the only place they could come from is God. And
Exactly.
if you look at the great liberating and God-like movements on this earth, whether it was the end of slavery, the abolitionists were specifically a Christian-driven movement.
That's true.
You look at the civil rights movement, it was specifically the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. It was specifically a Judeo-Christian movement. The only reason that we have the Geneva Conventions is because of the Judeo-Christian ethos. The only reason there can be peace is because of religion. Now, it depends on which religion, because some of them are warlike.
That is absolutely true.
Some of them revere death the way that we revere life.
Yeah, and that's the sad part.
It's terrible.
Yeah, they think that by, I guess, worshiping their God or worshiping their religion, that they can do dastardly, horrific, deeds, and then somehow be rewarded for that.
Well, that's
seems
why
a little opposite, doesn't it?
In the book I talk about this and why. Because I really try to stay away from specific religions. My book is about, is there an intelligent design to the universe? Let's just start there. All right. So I believe that there is not only a God, because where the laws come from, the laws of our physics could not have been created by the laws of our physics, because that which did not yet exist cannot be the cause of its own existence. Right? So that makes me think there has to be a lawmaker, right?
Sure.
I think it has to be a monotheistic God because of the constants of science. The fact that our laws are constant says that it's only one, because if it was multiple capricious and competing gods, then the laws would be multiple capricious and competing. The fact that the laws are constant means that it's a monotheistic God. So that leaves us now with Judeo-Christianity, which I believe is one religion, and Islam. So why not Islam? Because I believe that the same God that would have created the constants of the physical laws also would have made his moral laws constant. And Judeo-Christianity's moral laws are constant. Thou shalt not commit murder. It doesn't say except against the infidel.
Right.
Thou shalt not steal except from the infidel. All right, there is no except. And so I believe this monotheistic God has to be the God of the Jewish and the two testaments, because his moral laws are as consistent as his physical laws.
Wow. That's some heavy stuff, folks.
But in the book, it's funny. I swear. He didn't even tell you the real title of the book.
The real title is so hard. Here, I'll read it.
I'll do it.
Go ahead, you do it.
It's called Magic Soup, Typing Monkeys, and Horny Aliens from Outer Space. The patently absurd, wholly unsubstantiated, and extravagantly failed atheist origin myth. And I took the title from, let me do the subtitle first, from the quotation that starts the book. which is from a guy named Richard Lewontin, a Harvard University evolutionary biologist and a militant atheist. And he said, we take the side of science despite the patent absurdity of some of its constructs, despite its failure to keep its promises, despite the willingness of the scientific community to embrace wholly unsubstantiated just so stories, because we have a prior commitment, a commitment to materialism. So here's this leading scientist, Harvard University evolutionary biologist, admitting that atheism is patently absurd, wholly unsubstantiated, and extravagantly failed, but they call it science because they have a prior commitment to atheism.
Wow. Did you guys catch all that? Because I caught about 75% of it.
Right?
So let's switch gears for the last final part here. So you're a stand-up comedian.
Sometimes.
You're a stand-up comedian, right? You do gigs and things like that.
Sometimes.
Where are you going to be next? Is there anything that you want to, talk about or book or plug?
No, I got
like
nothing.
that?
That's why I'm here talking about this book. Otherwise, I'd be wearing that big red nose and I'd go honk honk and tell you where I am next week. But I didn't bring those. I brought this because I'm wearing my Sirius hat today.
Okay, he's
and
got
this
on
is
a
an
Sirius
important
hat.
book because we are the most atheistic civilization in Western civilization's history, and the consequences of that are epidemics. Not my word. That's the CDC's word. Epidemic of suicide, epidemic of depression, epidemic of self-hurting, epidemic of mental illness. And it all starts with they have nothing to believe in.
Right.
They don't believe in God. They don't believe in country. They don't believe in marriage. They don't believe in they don't believe in anything.
Right.
And that starts with they're not believing in God.
Exactly. And that's the thing about, the fact that if you don't believe in a higher power, if you don't believe in God, then you're going to believe or fall for false prophets or just false things, including the devil.
Well, indeed, and it very much is, whether you literally believe in the devil or not, it literally is a good versus evil fight that's going on right now.
It certainly is.
What you have to keep in mind is evil doesn't always look evil. And evil, in Nazi Germany, only 10% of the German people were active activist Nazis. The rest were just going about their business and they were inundated with lies and propaganda, and they went along. But back when the Democrats controlled the South, only about 5 to 10% were members of the KKK. Mm-hmm. It doesn't take a large percentage of the evil folks to win the battle.
And it also doesn't take a large percentage of the good folks
to fight
have
back.
a revolution.
Indeed.
That's what the 3%ers were all about.
And one more thing about my book. Not once do I talk about faith, because you can't make somebody else have faith. Not once do I refer to the Bible as authoritative, because you can't make a call to authority to something the other person doesn't think is authoritative. So I can say the Bible says, but if they don't believe in the Bible, what good does that do? Everything in this book is the actual science. There's no, I'm not asking you to have faith. I'm asking you to believe in science.
Gotcha. And where can folks go to find the book?
Well, they're on the table in the kitchen, as you know. But they can also
on the table in the kitchen of my house. That's true.
They can also go to Amazon, which is what I'd like them to do. Amazon.com. Listen, I wrote this book for believers to give to their non-believing friends and relatives and whatnot. So make this the Christmas gift. What better gift can you give to a non-believer than the hope and the happiness and the joy that comes from at least believing that there's more than just this?
And to do that during Christmas.
During Christmas. So it's Amazon.com. My name is Evan.
Say it.
Say it. S-A-Y.
Just say it already.
S-A-Y-E-T. Go to Amazon, buy it for Christmas. Bye, guys.
All right.
I just closed out your show.
Good. That's fine. You did a good job, man. Perfect.